Bang. What is up, folks? We are live with a Friday edition of the Daily Crypto Byte. And I got to say, this was a long week, CJ. This felt like a long week for crypto. Maybe it's because we were just coming off, the Miami conference, which was very hectic. But also, there was a lot of news related events this week. And I think that kind of dragged the week out. But, I am very excited that today is Friday. I'm expecting some pretty solid price action for the weekend. And yeah, I'm just glad to be here on a beautiful sunny day in Chicago, doing a Friday version of the Daily Crypto Byte. So without further ado, CJ, what do you say we hop right into things here?
Yeah, I feel you on that long week with extended news. Also, just want to say for our friends in Puerto Rico, we saw that there was that explosion that took off part of the power grid. So hope everybody's doing okay down there. But other than that, why don't we get into Bitcoin's price? You said you think you may see some positive price action this weekend. You want to share some of your thoughts as we start off here?
Yeah, sure. So let's jump right into the Bitcoin big boards. I'll throw it up behind us here. And I think we're seeing some pretty nice price action with Bitcoin. So it's been up and down in the last 24 hours. We've been kind of in this range. I've been watching people in chat talking about how we're up above 37K, back below 37K, and it seems to be fluctuating right in that range. And if you ask me, that makes a lot of sense. One thing I talked about just the other day was the 1 hour chart for Bitcoin. So this is the daily chart for Bitcoin. But on the 1 hour chart, I was talking about a possible inverse head and shoulders formation playing out. And I think that that's what we're seeing here. So 37K is a critical level. And, we're hovering right around this area. On the other shoulder of our head and shoulders pattern, we hovered in that range for about 3 days. It was also on a weekend from a period of, Friday afternoon until Sunday. And I think we are, poised for a similar period of price action this weekend. The range I'm looking at this weekend is between 37K and this level right here of 42K. I think that, getting up above these levels of 42K could lead to a continuation of bullish price action. But right now, until we really get sort of an influx of volume or, just a new reason for people to speculate, it seems like the market is kind of cooling off. We had some exciting news with El Salvador this week. That bill got passed into law real quick. And, we didn't really see that spike in price that you'd expect from such tremendously bullish news. So this weekend could be it. This could be the catalyst with thin order book volume. That's when we tend to see, some significant price action. So watch for these two levels right here, 42K, and then also this level right here, just below 48K at about 47.5. I think these are going to be some critical levels over the weekend. We'll definitely hit some resistance if we do retest those levels, but a break above 42K, in my opinion, could lead to a flush break to that 47.5K level. So I'm pretty optimistic on Bitcoin in the interim, but CJ, it's all contingent on that volume coming through.
Yeah, I'm going to be setting my alarm early Sunday morning for a potential dip if I wake up and see it. It's been such an interesting pattern throughout these weeks and months. But yeah, there's a lot of various patterns that may come to fruition or may not. Like you said in the chat, we have some pointing towards a potential bear flag down, considering that Bitcoin continues to make like tentative lower highs. It's not perfect. I think there's a merit to argue whether it's truly a channel or roughly a bear flag. And then, of course, if you go to shorter term timeframes, like you mentioned, you can bring up the inverse head and shoulders pattern that could give us potential clues as to where the trend goes this weekend. But, to your point earlier, I think it's all very contingent on buyer volume coming in. And unfortunately, until this point, we just haven't really seen it. So we'll see. It's always a toss up going into these weekends, especially when we're going into them already on low volume. So we'll see. However, we have had some interesting action in the altcoin market as well. Actually, Alex Massioli and Rob and I from Digital Asset News did an episode on Theta Fuel yesterday. Rob provided some great fundamental analysis for what they've got coming in the pipeline. And the price looked a little overbought in the short term. We recommended that I was going to wait a little bit. We got a little come down today. So I'll also be watching T-Fuel this weekend for any potential buying or entries, possibly in the low 40s. or anywhere up until that 20 smooth moving average. So yeah, make sure check that video out if you'd like it. But Monty, any other thoughts on the crypto market before we head into the Doges?
Yeah, CJ. Well, first of all, that was a really great video. I watched it yesterday. I was helping Rob with some OBS issues, and I was also watching the video. It was really good stuff. But I want, you mentioned some action in the alts, and I completely agree with you. I want to talk quickly about Ethereum and about, what I've been seeing on the Ethereum network on chain, and how I think that this could be an indication that the alts are getting ready to run. So one thing that's kind of been hampering, not just Ethereum, which I kind of view as sort of a gateway to the alts, especially DeFi assets. The network congestion and the gas fees have been somewhat, crippling this portion of the market. And that is something that, is really important for retail traders when they're looking, to get exposure into these altcoins. When they see the gas fees are, significantly high, they won't venture into those purchases. And one thing I want to reference quickly is this chart from Glassnode that talks about the mean transaction fees of both Bitcoin and Ethereum, because I think this is pretty telling. A lot of you have probably heard CJ and I talk about what we refer to as DeFi summer, which was, 2020, and DeFi saw a ton of speculation. And a lot of that and that was great for Ethereum as well. And a lot of it had to do with the very reasonable gas fees, even amidst high transaction volume. Look at this chart. Over the last couple of months, weeks, in 2021 in general, the gas fees have been extraordinarily high. And that is likely due to network congestion. But as a result, it's been a lot harder for people to get exposure into these downstream altcoins. But as you can see from this report from Glassnode that came out on Wednesday, those fees are returning to the mid 2020 levels for the first time since mid 2020. So for me, that is a very encouraging sign that the network congestion has died down and that people are ready to venture back into the alts. So you'll hear me talk a little bit later about my Doge of the day and my reasoning for it. But overall, I think the DeFi space is looking primed for a takeoff. And, whenever I see the gas fees this low, it's a perfect time to start accumulating DeFi assets. I think that we're going to see some similar price action like we saw in the summer of 2020. And it's going to be different this time around because a lot of these DeFi assets are already established. We have assets like Comp, Maker, Yearn Finance that make significant moves during bull markets, but they're 50% down from their all-time highs. So a move to that level would not be unprecedented at this point. So I think it's really interesting to watch these Ethereum gas fees because for me, they're kind of an indication of, will people be willing to enter into the downstream alts? And right now looks like a perfect time to do so.
Yeah, thank you for pointing out the low fees on Ethereum because, I might have to go to MetaMask and look at some desirable assets that I haven't had the chance to grab just because fees have been high. But now, in terms of when the market is just kind of consolidating and it's quiet, it's pretty opportunistic time to get any assets on MetaMask or any ERC20 tokens that are a bit more unconventional. I was just looking at Celsius, might start accumulating that one for this kind of second tiered leg of the bull market if we do see another massive increase in price. But very interesting stuff collectively. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and one last thing I would like to plug is your how to intro to using MetaMask course. I know there's a lot of people probably watching this video that don't know how to use MetaMask or how to do a swap from MetaMask. You might have your funds on Voyager. Well, CJ did a tutorial video on how to use MetaMask, how to do those swaps, and it is very helpful. I'll refer a lot of people to it, and it's gotten them started using MetaMask. So it's an important skill to have during a bull market, and I think we may be approaching that second leg. So watch out for that. But what do you say, CJ? Should we give the people what they're here for, our Doges of the day?
Is the animation going?
The animation's going. He's right behind me. He's
now
riding
we're ready.
his rocket. We're ready to go.
Yeah, so yesterday I talked about Algo as my Doge of the day. It's been performing pretty well, regardless of, this kind of overall downturn, or I don't know if I'd call it a downturn, more of a stagnation in the altcoin market as Bitcoin kind of ponders around 36 and 37K here. But Algo is hanging in there. I really like the fact that it's finally broken above its top Bollinger Band. That outer band is starting to kind of scoop upward, showing us a bullish entry signal. We also have a nice bullish hammer candle that is pretty much leading the way. So I'll be watching Algo. Do hold a little bit of that one, but for the short term, I really like that asset, and I like how it's been performing ever since yesterday. Some honorable mentions that I do want to bring up. StormX had a massive jump in volume yesterday, but once we saw that buy pressure come in, we had some holders or whoever it was, they sold into it really, really hard. And so we had like this massive wick that came down and then finished the candle with bearish momentum. So that's one I'm watching because we had that massive spike in volume, but we didn't really see any follow through yet. So that's gonna on my watch list, a little bit of an honorable mention. Also, Mana up 10% today. So we'll see how that one shakes out. I want to wait for confirmation to make sure that one doesn't pull a StormX and it goes up and then people sell off into it very quickly and it creates that wick. So just a couple honorable mentions there, Monty, but please go ahead.
No, I'm glad those made your honorable mentions list, CJ, because I've actually been accumulating StormX this week pretty much on a daily basis. I've been, loading up the Voyager app and putting in a purchase order. So glad to hear that made your honorable mentions list. But my Doge of the day today is one that, is in the vein of assets I was already talking about, DeFi. And my Doge today is Maker, ticker MKR. So like I said, about Comp, Maker, Yearn Finance, these assets are assets that are down nearly 50% from their all-time high just a month ago. So these are very, very volatile assets. And when they move, they make very quick moves. And I like what I'm seeing out of pretty much all of them across the board right now for a few reasons. I mentioned the gas fees, returning to a low of summer of 2020. That is hugely important for assets like Maker, like Comp, like Yearn Finance. They see a ton of volume on Sushi Swap, Uniswap, and keeping those gas fees low is so important to allowing people to make these plays. So now the gas fees are low. I think retail money is going to, be less reluctant to speculate on these assets. And just look at where we're at technically, right? We're bottoming on this 2D sequential by 9. It's not, a true 9 in the sense that the 7 was a bit lower. But I like what I'm seeing in the sense that we have now support at 30.49 and then below it, at that next TD support level of about 27.90. So we have strong support to the downside and very little resistance to the upside. I think a move to that 39.21 level is something that we could see by end of day today. So when you have an asset like Maker, like Comp that are, particularly volatile assets, and you have a somewhat of a leading indicator with the gas fees, now might be a good time to enter one of those trades because I do think that the potential upside is there. So, after today's episode, I'm going to go ahead and fire up Voyager and I'm going to put in an order for Maker. And I will consider taking profits if we do retest that 3,900 level. But overall, I think that DeFi in general is a sector that is going to see an increase in speculation over the coming months this summer. So that is my Doge of the day today, CJ, Maker. And yeah.
Let's remember kind of the circumstances as well that led to the last DeFi summer. You had Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think Ethereum was performing a little bit better, but Bitcoin wasn't doing a whole lot. It was mainly just consolidating or stagnating, and so people take that capital and they explore elsewhere. And you had assets like Sushi Swap where we first heard it, we were like, "What is this? A cryptocurrency named after sushi?" We all laughed at it, but then of course, who's laughing now? The sushi holders.
Very true. Very true. Well, that's all we got for today, folks. It is Friday, so try and get outside, try and enjoy your weekend. I think we'll see some pretty exciting price action. So don't forget to spend some time in front of those screens as well. Maybe do what CJ's doing and set an alarm early Sunday morning. Try and catch some of that
Don't do that.
It's not good for your mental health, but if you're looking to catch a dip, maybe you'll have a chance. It's like going fishing. You gotta get up early. The early bird gets the worm on Sunday, CJ. So, but that's all we got for today. We'll be doing a trade the chain later today. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It's always a pleasure. Have a great weekend. Any closing thoughts you'd like to leave our audience with, CJ?
Yes, don't forget, if you're looking for a place to trade crypto in the US, Voyager offers interest on a variety of assets that you can trade all commission free. VGX token offers exclusive benefits for those holders. I really like to hold that one as a result, 7% interest APY. You can also earn up to 10% APY on USDC when you hold it at Voyager. Also doing that right now as well. It's one of my favorite ways to be able to keep some dry powder on the sidelines. And if you'd like to hear more about kind of our doges of the day or our weekly trade insights and our charting platform, check out our community at marketrebellion.com/crypto, or you can check it out in the link below as well and try the first month for just $1. So we really appreciate that, guys. We've been working hard on some new things in the pipeline as well. So thank you for watching, and we hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.